Late at night, Aria Jackson sat in the lounge, flipping through photos of Larry Spencer with another woman. The pictures were taken secretly, but from a clever angle. Through the car window, the two were clearly having an intense moment. Larry's distinctive mole and the snowflake tattoo on the woman's shoulder were unmistakable. Aria smiled coldly, tossing the photos into the trash can as exhaustion washed over her. "Do I really have to get this tattoo?" she asked. "Mrs. Spencer, this is your husband's instruction. The tattoo artist is already waiting. Only if you get the same tattoo as Miss Landon can we clear up yesterday's scandal. Of course, you can refuse, if you want your brother's medical payments to stop tomorrow." The secretary's tone was dismissive, her eyes showing no respect. It was as if Aria, the so-called Mrs. Spencer, was nothing more than a disposable joke. And that was exactly the case. Larry's affair with the tattooed woman had gone viral, causing such an uproar that Spencer Corp had to hold a press conference to address the scandal. And her husband's solution? Make her get the same tattoo as the woman in the photos. A blatant deception. The humiliation was unmistakable. Aria's heart clenched in pain. After a long pause, she lowered her eyes and slowly agreed, "Fine, I'll do it." She thought to herself that this would be the last time she would sacrifice her dignity for Larry Spencer. The tattoo artist Larry had arranged was waiting in the lounge. She lay numbly on the bed, feeling the artist's movements while a cold emptiness spread through her. Half an hour later, she stared at the tattoo on her body, identical to the one in the photos, and felt nothing but bitter irony. She followed the secretary to the car. When they reached the press conference, Aria immediately spotted Larry standing on stage. He wore a black suit with casual confidence, the top button undone, his expression both arrogant and roguish, his entire demeanor nonchalant. Below, camera flashes blinked as a reporter's voice rose above the crowd. "Mr. Spencer, we've heard your relationship with your wife has deteriorated because of your affair with another woman. Is this true?" "Relationship problems." Larry stared at the reporter, raising an eyebrow playfully. His manner was composed, a smile lingering at his lips. Though he showed no anger, his presence was still intimidating, causing even the questioning reporter to swallow nervously. Everyone knew that Larry Spencer, the Spencer family heir, had a difficult temperament and was notoriously hard to deal with. He lifted his eyelids coolly, his posture relaxed. Just as he was about to speak, he caught sight of Aria walking toward him. His prepared words died in his throat. With all eyes on them, he suddenly curved his lips into a smile. Then he stepped forward, intimately slipping his arm around Aria's waist. "Darling, they're saying we're having relationship problems," he said in a tender, affectionate tone. Their posture was intimate, but Aria felt only numbness, her stomach churning with nausea. This marriage had truly exhausted her. Even the man she had loved for years now seemed repulsive. She didn't pull away, allowing him to hold her waist until the reporters, witnessing this display, swarmed forward, turning their questions toward Aria. "Mrs. Spencer, what are your thoughts on your husband spending the night with another woman? Do you know who she is?" After the reporter's question, Larry glanced at her with amusement, his gaze falling on her shoulder. With all eyes on her, Aria faced the cameras. Confronted with the accusing questions, she removed her jacket, revealing the tattoo on her shoulder, and spoke calmly. "Last night was just a private moment between my husband and me. We love each other deeply, and there has never been a third person in our relationship." The reporters stared in shock at the tattoo on her body. It was identical to the one captured in last night's photos. The press immediately erupted in chatter. A veteran reporter quickly changed his approach, joking, "So it was Mr. and Mrs. Spencer in the photo. You two really are close." But Aria's heart felt nothing but numbness. 5 years. If they truly had a good relationship, why would things have come to this? With the facts now clear, the rumors naturally collapsed. The reporters left, disappointed. As the crowd dispersed, Aria returned to the lounge. The moment she stepped through the door, a hand grabbed her roughly. In an instant, she was pinned to the sofa. Larry gripped her wrists with crushing force, as if he wanted to break her. He held her chin, studying her like a trapped animal. "Nice story you made up, but your acting was terrible. That tattoo looks nothing like Lucy's on you." He traced the fresh tattoo on her skin with mockery in his voice. "And that line, 'love each other deeply'? Coming from your mouth, it had zero credibility. Arya's eyes fixed on the kiss mark on his neck. The sight stung her eyes and made her stomach turn. Actually, she hadn't been lying. She and Larry had once loved each other deeply. During their deepest love, she had rushed into a burning building to save him, and he had taken 3 stab wounds from kidnappers for her. Unfortunately, now they could hardly stand the sight of each other. I certainly can't compare to Miss Landon. She's certainly devoted to her sister's crush. I wonder what Linda would think if she knew. Arya smiled faintly. At her words, Larry's expression darkened instantly. He squeezed her wrists painfully, his voice ice-cold. You have no right to mention Linda. If it weren't for you, she would never have missed that rescue. The Miss Landon Arya referred to as Lucy Landon, one of the Spencer family's adopted daughters. The Landon and Spencer families had been close, and after the Landons' tragedy, the Spencers had adopted the twin sisters, Lucy and Linda. As they grew up, Linda developed feelings for Larry. But Larry only saw Linda as a sister, while passionately pursuing Arya instead. Until Linda died in an avalanche, and Lucy went abroad. Before the accident, Linda had called Larry for help. Larry had been celebrating Arya's birthday at the time and missed the call. Based on Lucy's accusations, Larry became convinced that Arya had deliberately disconnected Linda's desperate call for help. I've told you, I had nothing to do with what happened back then, Arya said, her heart barren and her voice numb. Besides, taking care of your old flame's sister all the way to the bedroom. Your care is certainly unexpected, Mr. Spencer. Arya had explained the incident countless times over the years, but Larry refused to believe her. The dead had become his perfect ideal. Over the years, Larry had kept numerous young women who resembled Linda. Yet Arya never imagined Larry would become involved with Lucy. When she received those photos yesterday, she immediately recognized that the woman was Lucy, Linda's twin sister, and Larry's adoptive sister. Thinking about their intimacy made Arya feel sick. Larry's expression grew dark and menacing. He stared at her coldly, his thumb roughly pressing against her lips. So what? His tone was bitter with sarcasm. Compared to them, you're nothing. You're just a woman I've used up. With that, Larry stormed out, slamming the door behind him. Arya watched him leave, feeling nothing but numbness. Her heart didn't stir at all. It was as if the person who had loved Larry for 5 years, who had once risked her life for him, wasn't her at all. She sat quietly for a long time. Scenes from the last 5 years flashed through her mind like a slideshow. She should have stopped expecting anything from this marriage from Larry long ago. After a while, she took out her phone and dialed a number. Mr. Duncan, about your proposal last time. I accept. I'll marry you, on the condition that you pay for my brother's surgery and help me get back that land in the West District.